So, good afternoon, everyone. And today we are going to talk about what is the current situation in Nagorno-Karabakh. And the School of Politics and Law of Almaty Management University is honored to have with us as a guest speaker Roshan Ibrahimov. He's a professor from Azerbaijan, and he's currently working at Hankook University of Foreign Studies in South Korea. So, Roshan, thank you very much for your participation in this interview and for your
My pleasure,
perspective. So, my first question for you is, what is happening in Nagorno-Karabakh?
If we talk about right now, because what is happening, it is a very long period of time. But if we talk about last developments, that 1 month ago, on September 27, as a reaction on the, let's say, regular bombing of civilian targets by Armenian side, and it was happened not from the occupied Karabakh territories, but also from Armenian territories, both. So it was also breaking of territorial integrity of Azerbaijan territory in general. Azerbaijan started counter-attack operation, military operation, and very wide size operation, which never have been before since 1994, when the ceasefire has been signed between the sides. And the main reason of this, that the possibility of continuing peaceful negotiation was impossible, since in 2018, the government in Armenia has changed, and Pashinyan came to power and became a prime minister. And his last rhetorics and actions show that he and his government has not have constructive point of view for possible peaceful way solution of Karabakh conflict. You know, since 1994 till, let's say, the recent times, there was a constant negotiation. So it takes 26 years. And Azerbaijan never put apart a possibility of solution of this conflict by military way. In according to United Nations Chapter, Article 51, it is individual and collective self-defense right. But we and Azerbaijan still believe that there is a possibility of peaceful solution of this conflict. And that's why so patiently for 26 years, the negotiation keep going. You cannot imagine any other country or power or actor of international system which will be much more stronger in all points like demographic, politically, economically, military, that still will have patience in order to keep negotiation for peaceful solution. We don't have so many examples in a modern international politics or historical international politics as any stronger part, keep patience in order to continue negotiation and looking for solution of any conflict by peaceful way.
Okay, but my question is, what are the roots of this conflict? Can you explain us?
If you look, the roots, it's very, very old. Like we can see even at the beginning of 20th century, there still has been such rivalry between Azerbaijanis and Armenians. And at this time, it was Tsarist Russia, which tried to follow the policy of divided empire, like keeping control over the region. And so people who live together by peaceful way, and conflict was not only in Karabakh, including Baku, and they just started simply conflict with each other. And this also converted into the hot war when Azerbaijan and Armenia became independent in 1918. Since Soviet Union, Nagorno-Karabakh had a status of autonomous oblast within Azerbaijan. And apart from Armenians who say that, according to Caucasian Politburo in 1921, it is like they say Stalin decision, shortly explained like that, that apart from what Armenians say that decision was deliver Karabakh to Azerbaijan, is not true. In according to these documents, it is like how to keep Karabakh within Azerbaijan. So Karabakh was as a part of territory of Karabakh, and it was decision that to keep it as it is. It was different reason. Even, you know, one of the leader of Communist Party at this time, Mikoyan, who is Armenian origin, he has sent telegram in according to which say that Dashnaks, that means National Socialist, Armenian National Socialist, intended to Karabakh from Azerbaijan, which is economically and politically unsustainable and impossible. This region will not be survive without integration into the Azerbaijan economy. So that was pragmatic way of view. And in 1988, the Nagorno-Karabakh, they have autonomous oblasts, so they have own administration. They had a decision in according to which they ask Armenian Soviet Socialist Republic for possibility of unification with this republic and succession from Azerbaijan Soviet Socialist Republic. This is the starting point. But according to Soviet Union Constitution, as well as republics constitutions, because every republic in the Soviet period has Azerbaijan Soviet Socialist Republic, Armenian Soviet Socialist Republic, has own constitution, and in according all of this constitution, the territorial changes cannot be possible without the permission of authority of these republics. So even central authority like Moscow could not interfere into this decision because it was anti-constitutional. And as a result of this, lately it was a decision of Supreme Soviet of Soviet Union that Nagorno-Karabakh cannot be succeed and joined to Armenia. So it was unconstitutional. So since then, the hot war has started. First victims were by Azerbaijani side in Nagorno-Karabakh, and very later, in 1988, around 250,000 Azerbaijan had to left their houses in Armenia. They fled to Azerbaijan without possibility to take any owners and had to left. And you know that very widely used by Armenians Sumgait pogroms later in 1988, where 26 persons died, among them also Azerbaijanis. The difference of Sumgaites from all other pogroms, what happened like Khojaly massacre and so on, that all responsibilities were caught and had a punishment, legal punishment. And amongst them, one person was Armenian original, Grigorian, and he personally killed 5 Armenians. And that also shows that was the intentional case in order to making this pogrom possible. Yeah, it is documentally confirmed. If someone have been interested, there's all in the archives of Soviet Union solicitor system, and there are many detailed information. So this program actually detailed and confirmed. Later, when the republics became independent, it became to the hot war from 1991 till the 1994, when the ceasefire was signed.
Okay, and let me move from this point. What's the difference between the first war and the current conflict?
Well, escalation of difference mainly several factors here. First, Azerbaijan now army, first of all, well trained and better equipped, and using advanced technologies, as we can say it is a start of postmodern war era with this Karabakh war, by using drones and other high technological weapons, not only drones, but also other strategy and tactics. And also this is minimal, not completely, but minimum interference of external actors into the conflicts, mainly Russia, because it was clear that in 1991, 1994, Russian factor in Armenian victory was very crucial by supplying of weapons, by direct participation of Russian militaries, including those who implemented Khojaly massacre in 1992. And it is documented, there are numbers of Russian tanks, which documented by Azerbaijan every single participation. And now Russia tried to keep more neutral position if we compare with the previous time. It was understandable because at this period, pro-Armenian vision was mainly because at this period, Azerbaijan, firstly, during the Mutalibov period, tried to start cooperation with Western energy companies in order to bring them for exploitation of Azerbaijani oil fields, which was really against of Russian interests in the region. Even though Russian interests geopolitical, they were against of any presence of West in the region, including economic. And Mutalibov was simply punished with the Hocalı massacre, after which Mutalibov resigned, and next government was completely anti-Russian, LCB government, anti-Russian, and that's why support of Armenia was keeping doing. In 1994, when the ceasefire was signed, the main reason it was clear that Heydar Aliyev, the third president, understood that Azerbaijan fight not with Armenia but with Russia because it was completely successful case of returning territories before it, but then Azerbaijan lost more territories than previously, and he understood that this is not time for fight, and Azerbaijan needs ceasefire and stability in order to sign energy contracts with the Western company. If you don't have stability, you cannot bring big capital to the country. So that was like some kind of postponing of solution of conflict.
Okay, and remaining actually on the issue of external actors, what is the current role played by Turkey, if you have a perspective on that?
Turkish foreign policy, since Atatürk, was very clear: peace at home, peace abroad. So that is status quo policy, and that means no interference into the international arena, no matter what will be happening. You know, this policy was extremely successful during the Second World War. But since the new government, it is AKP party, so it is Justice and Development Party in English language. So they came to power in 2002, and since like 2010s, they started to sharply change the foreign policy vision of Turkey. They became more interactive into the region, including like promoting regional leadership. So if we compare the rhetoric of Turkey in 90s, when the first Karabakh war were, this was very neglected and minimal. Even there was a time when they supported Armenia with grain and humanitarian aids and so on, that was very negatively reacted by Azerbaijan. But since this, because the rhetoric and activity of Turkey sharply changed, the first time during this conflict openly supported Azerbaijan by all means. That political message of Turkey is very clear, that Azerbaijan should liberate territories, and Turkey completely supported. If it will be with military way, Turkey supported this possible way as well. As for, you know, many claims by Turkish side that Turkey is participating directly in the war, there are no any single event and confirmation by it. Many times Azerbaijan asked to show the evidence that Turkish side participated in the war, and or any cases that it was happened. They show so many numbers that thousands of Turkish soldiers and troops participated. So you can find at least minimum one case how it happened. No any evidence shown right now. But even though, if it would hypothetically would take a place, it's still not against of international law, because self-defense means individual and collective contribution for territorial integrity and fighting against occupant. So even though sometimes Armenian side claim that Turkey is participating, there is still no illegal issue. That their rhetoric is not clear what they want to say. Actually, it is clear because they wish that Russia will also join to the this conflict by Armenian side, and so it will be regional or maybe even global and more complicated conflict, because Armenians' power is not adequate and enough. They're looking alternative way, bring Russia back again to this conflict like it was in 90s, because otherwise they don't have possibility to sustain, and we lost the occupied territories maybe in 1 month.
Okay, and in your view, what is the most reasonable solution to stop this conflict?
You know, the reasonable solution is international law. International law, we need to follow international law. Why we have problems till now? Because it was not international law, it was mostly international politics. If you want to have, to build a real, honest, fair, and open global system, we need to follow international law. What international law emphasizes about is that Nagorno-Karabakh is a part of Azerbaijan territory, and it's internationally recognized by all actors of current international system, by all states. The international system no have doubt about it. United Nations recognized the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan. So it needs to be solved. What international law and United Nations chapter tell about this? If some country occupied by another country, so the international system should provide, again, peace and stability in the region, and so make occupant back. So it can be started with sanctions and then even including power. But even sanctions never implemented towards Armenia. So this is more international politics. You see, after the annexion of Crimea by Russia, Ukrainian territory, Russia faced it with sanctions. But Armenia never faced it with sanctions. So it is double standard towards Russia, let's say. Russia, such a huge actor, faced it with sanctions, but Armenia never do this. And people try to make a balance between occupant and occupier. This is very dangerous for international law, international system, and United Nations general view of the things. Okay, if the international system and international law in perspective will be changed, we can discuss alternative way. But currently, this is part of territory of Azerbaijan, and there is no any possible way for self-determination of Karabakh in according to current international law. The only possible way, permission of Azerbaijan, which is never will be happen. What Azerbaijan proposed? Azerbaijan proposed, yes, Armenians has right to live in Azerbaijan. They are our citizens, and they can have autonomy in Nagorno-Karabakh and define their self-determination within the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan. What is the Armenian view? No, it's not possible. We need independent state. Azerbaijanis and Armenians are genetically incompatible. They cannot live together, which is fascist explanation. And we need not only Karabakh and buffer zone around Nagorno-Karabakh for security. So this is 7 regions where never Armenians lived. This is more territory than actually Nagorno-Karabakh is. So this is not acceptable. It never will be happen, and international law will be completely fragile and destruct if will be follow the expectations of Armenia. The Armenian main thesis is that historically we came first here, so this is our territory. Then simple, Italy should claim for all territories of Roman Empire, looking like there was our territory, Europe should come back to Italy, something like that. Or I don't know, Mongolia should claim all Russia because there was a centuries dominance over Russia. So this is not a story who came first. This is about the international law, and international law say that it's a territory of Azerbaijan, full stop. Now this is the question, whether Armenia agree that they will have own home between Azerbaijan or no. This is their decision. Now they can have this, but if they will keep doing like that, they will have nothing. This is the issue of current situation, what's happening in Azerbaijan. So we want respect to international law. We want to respect to all resolutions of United Nations. And we recognize Armenians as a part of our society, multicultural society. They can live together. Still many Armenians live in Azerbaijan, apart from Armenia, where no any single Azerbaijanis remain. And we are against of Armenian Lebensraum, you know, expanding territories. Armenians has own term for Lebensraum, miatsum. They openly using this miatsum, and territorial claim, it's not only towards Azerbaijan, Karabakh, it is also towards Georgia, it is also towards Turkey, also towards Iran, and recently, and surprisingly, towards Russia. So they have own miatsum, they still have a Nazi's perception of the world, and it's completely geopolitical, which is meaningless because even population of Armenia not enough for settling people in all such a wide territories. You maybe see videos from Karabakh. There are not many people living there. They could not settle in occupied territories. Not enough demography for this. This is just only non-pragmatic, beyond contemporary view of human values, nationalist view, and consequently as a problem of this.
Okay, thank you very much for your perspective. One last question.
Please.
What are your feelings as an expatriate to see that your country is now in a state of war?
I'm worrying. I'm worrying because I don't want many losses from both sides. Not for only Azerbaijan, but also Armenia. For Armenia, it's even more disaster because they lost young people for the same generation. Like now, currently, I checked their official losers, and it's mainly between 1998 and 2002, the burn. So 50 or 60%. That means this is genocide against our nation. So Armenians implemented now genocide against the government of Armenia, implemented Armenian genocide right now. So I'm very worried that no many losses will be happen, and the solution will be as soon as possible, and everybody will be satisfied when the conflict will be over. Because ceasefire was not stability. Ceasefire was a slowly war, never end, because still losses continues. It was instantly since 1994, several thousand people die, and those who say that it was stable, it's completely not. Just big powers were interested to keep situation as it is, and that's all. But it was not solution. And if we will solve, we can talk. We need to talk. I live in Asia, you know. I live in Korea. I experienced it. I participated directly in searching of a solution of such conflict, like in Mindanao, in Philippines, in East Timor, in Indonesia, and in Aceh. All these conflicts were much more disastrous than between Armenia and Azerbaijan, especially East Timor, where 1 million people died. But they solved the problem. They did reconciliation. Now Indonesia and East Timor has completely perfect relationship. The reconciliation is possible. Why they managed to solve the problem? Very simple. External factor in this conflict disappeared. As soon as external factor in conflict disappeared, the parts of conflicts very easily solved the problems. In Eastern Timor, in Aceh in Indonesia, and in the Mindanao. Now they provided very high status of autonomy to the people who wanted to separate, and both sides still have problems, but not on the range of to make a fight or conflict with each other.
Thank you very much, Rovshan, for your critical reflections. I mean, it was very interesting to listen your perspective.
Thank you very much for your time as well.
Goodbye.